All right, basic tutorial, Nomad Sculpt. We are going to just show the interface. Here are your tools on the right. You can change the layout. You have clay, you have brush, you have smooth. Now keep it simple in the beginning. Just clay. You can change over here on this side to either subtract or add clay. So you start with your first primitive sphere. Say you want to take away, you have it selected for subtract, and now symmetry is going to be on, so you're going to see two eye sockets start taking away. Then you can take the smooth tool, you can smooth it out, and you can see how it starts to look a little cleaner. All the hand gestures, very similar to Procreate. You can zoom out by pinching in. You can pan by holding two fingers on the screen, moving side to side. You can double tap to undo, same as Procreate. You can triple finger tap to bring it back. And then from there, you're pretty much just doing a process. Let's just keep it super simple. Let's take out a nose. Let's smooth that out. And let's just say we start dragging this out a little bit. We still have symmetry on so we can see. Let's say we make like kind of like a skull or a shape of a head. You're always adjusting your tools over here. This thing adjusts the size of your radius of your tool, and this is the intensity, so like how strong that tool is going to affect when you're pulling. So if I weaken it and you go to pull, it does it a lot less. We can increase that, and then when you go to grab, it'll pull quickly, so you can just sit there and adjust. Okay, so let's say you wanted to add some eyes. Everything is up here in this little menu right here. You have primitives. You see that plus button? You click that. You've got, I could add more spheres for eyes. Right now they're gonna be the same size as what I have in there. So we can go back to our tools and you can see this menu that pops up for any new primitive you make, right? You're gonna take and click mirror if you want it to be a set of eyes so we can move them, and then your gizmo tool is to move anything you wanna move in this 3D space. The gizmo is a little complicated at first, but once you understand it, it's super easy. You have this outer circle controls the size. Now if you rotate, the same as Procreate, one finger on the screen pivots and rotates. So anywhere not touching your object, just moving on the outer part of the object, you can move. So let's adjust these down. This blue arrow is gonna move it forward, pretty self-explanatory. This is all in your X, Y, and Z space. So your X is your left and right. And this is another important thing for the interface, just in general. It's just to know if you ever get lost or you get off track, you can just click this to bring you back to the front view. And that's super important when you get into doing like slicing, or you want things to be nice and even within this grid. You're gonna use you can even lock this if you click and hold it, I believe. So now it won't move at all. If I want to do something and I want to make sure I'm in perspective, which if you go to perspective, you have orthographic or perspective. I'm trying not to get too complex here, but orthographic means you're looking at this thing straight on. It's not using any kind of camera perspective. It's not changing anything. So let's unlock that perspective. Well, I guess we're unlocked. Let's see here. Still keeping this very, very simple. Let's validate. Anytime you make something, you need to validate it. So that's gonna make it so it's not in the initial phase where you can change things. All right, so turn on the wireframe so you can see what's going on, how many polygons this is. Right now, these are not that dense. The darker the color is, the more dense it is, and that's what's called voxel remeshing. And so that's something you're gonna do as you play with this. Say you wanna add clay, you could change it to add clay. You can make some bumps here or some bumps here. Like I said, we still have symmetry on, so if we wanna make things that are different on each side, we need to go up here to this menu and turn off symmetry. It says symmetry sphere enabled. Uncheck that. So now if we go and add some clay here, it'll just add to this side. Say he had a bump on his head or something and not on the other side, and you can smooth that out. I'm just leaving the wireframe on so you can see what the polygons are doing. This is some people don't understand this in the beginning, because you're going to be remeshing as you distort or change this. Let's say we changed this into like we took the drag tool here and brought out like a horn shape up here. We bring this radius down a little bit and drag this out. You can see how those polygons are getting stretched. And they're actually going to be, if you turn off the wireframe, you can see it starts to look kind of bad. So what you want to do is called voxel remeshing, and this is the most important step when you first get into Nomad Sculpt. Is just learning how to remesh, and when you're blocking things out, recorrect your polygons constantly, because they're always going to be getting warped from you pulling on them. So we'll go voxel, remesh. Usually keep around 200-300 in the beginning while you're just blocking stuff out, and now you're going to watch. If I turn the wireframe back on, it's much nicer, and you can take the smooth tool and even clean it up a little and make it look a little neater. We'll turn back off the wireframe, and now you can see it looks a lot nicer, and that's something people in the beginning don't realize you have to do. And so very, very simple. We're still just going through the different tools. We've got clay is your most common. Move is very similar to drag, but you can see it acts just a little bit differently. So say we wanted to bring out this part of the face. Put a nose on here. And you're always kind of looking at your thing in three-dimensional space. You can just pan around it and look at it from different angles so you see what it looks like. So you're always just smoothing and then voxel remeshing. You go up here to your voxel menu, voxel remesh. But let's say we want to add a torso. Everything is up here in your primitives menu. This is just like layers in Photoshop. You've got different layers of things going on, and you can select different things you want to mess with. If you wanted to say add a dot on the eye, you would select one of your eyes. These are right now mirrored, so they're going to act the same as you make changes to one of them. Let's just say we added a dot to this eye in the center to make it look like it's kind of bulging out. You want to smooth that as you go. Voxel remesh it. Right now we haven't remeshed yet. We'll bring this up to around 200 or 300. Smooth that out. Look at it from different angles. Like I said, if you're familiar with Procreate, super easy to make the transition into digital sculpting. So that's it for this first video. Just wanted to show you just the basic stuff. Keep it simple in the beginning so you don't get like burned out with, or don't get overwhelmed by how much stuff there is in this program. This program has changed a lot since it first came out. The developer has done an awesome job adding loads of new features. This thing is as close as you're going to get to ZBrush on the iPad, although now they have ZBrush on the iPad, so we'll see what they do with that. I'm sure they're going to have challenges making it work just as well as this thing does. Nomad Sculpt is honestly one of the easiest, most intuitive programs to learn.